Hello, everyone, and welcome to Venitas Podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, spending time with us today. Today, I have a very special guest. I have been so excited to meet her for, I don't know, it's been a couple of months
Yeah.
now that we've been talking on the phone, and she flew all the way in from Florida to
Hmm.
be here to do this podcast, and we really appreciate that. Her name is Sharice Buchanan.
Hmm.
She is the principal of
Hmm.
Rise Christian School,
Hmm.
and I cannot wait for her to tell you her story. I know a little bit about it, but I want to hear it all from the
Okay.
beginning along with you guys.
Okay.
So I call her Reese. So,
Yes.
Reese, thank you so much for
Thank
coming on the
you.
show
I
today.
truly
Like I
appreciate
said,
it.
I'm like a little kid. I'm all excited to meet you because this is a big
Yeah,
deal,
yeah, yeah,
running and owning and,
yeah,
starting
yeah.
a Christian school. So,
Yes.
I am going to let you tell your story.
Okay.
Please,
Okay.
please just reintroduce yourself
Okay.
to our audience.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself,
Hmm.
and please just get right into
Okay.
your story that I'm
Okay.
I'm just like waiting like a little child.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it. And yes, came in last night. Really excited to be here. So I'll get straight to it. My name is Sharice Buchanan, and most of the kids and the staff call me, most of the children call me Miss Reese, or, family and friends call me Reese. So if you hear any reference to Reese, or if you say that, that's fine. And let's start with last year, around this time. June, right before we're heading into my vacation time, I was working for a different organization, and I felt my morals and ethics weren't aligned with that position. And so I actually turned down the position I was set forth for in the new school year.
Oh.
So there was a negotiation contract,
Mm-hmm.
talking salary, position, what that would look like. And two appointments later, I go in for a conversation to talk about salary. We prayed over it before we start every meeting. There was
Mm-hmm.
prayer,
Okay.
and after the prayer, I was told, "You no longer have a position here." Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And
Okay.
so same response.
After they offered you a promotion title
Yep,
and all
yep,
of this, you're
yep.
just going into,
I was going in to talk about
yeah.
salary. Like I said, we prayed about it. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about what this new school year would look like. And the first words after amen was, "We don't have a position here for you."
Oh my God.
Yes.
So your heart must have
So
stopped for a
I
second.
stopped. Same response, same response. I stopped and said, okay. Um, okay. I started to pack my things. It was, wait a minute, what's going on? What are you doing? Well, you don't have a position here for me. Yeah, we don't know where to put you, so we just canceled the position completely.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Okay. So this is the day before I'm going on my 2-week vacation with
Mm-hmm.
my kids, and I didn't know what to expect, what to do. This was in another building, so I went back to the building where I was working, and I started packing my things. Didn't know what to expect. And some of the staff and admin that were there didn't know. So they're like, "What's happening? We saw you yesterday. We were expecting you tomorrow, and now you're packing your items and you're leaving." Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Wow.
So I did appreciate the opportunity. I did feel when I took that job previously, it was an assignment. And I prayed about it way before I took the position. And I felt like it was always an assignment, not knowing what that assignment looked like, what it was, where it take me. But during the time I worked for them, I met someone who had a beautiful soul. I was sitting side by side for majority of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Just as we're sitting across from each other, her and I sat next to each other as well. And we shared lots of stories. I mean, we spent 6 to 8 to 10 hours together, and we shared lots of stories together, learned each other, built a relationship with each other. And now I find out after I get let go, I find out she too was done with her position 2 days prior.
By her a choice of her own, or was she let
She
go?
was contracted, but it was, yeah, we no longer need you.
Oh,
So I didn't know at the time,
mm-hmm.
but I did call her after, and she said, "Wow, similar conversation 2 days prior." So now let's backstep a little bit.
Okay.
Knowing her and who she was, she wanted to open up a small school. And in Florida, they have these schools where it's called micro school. So you can rent a building and you can have a combination kindergarten through fifth grade all in one building. And it's very small, minute. So that was her dream, her goal. She had it outlined, the name of the school, she had the purpose of the school, everything set up. And she did share different locations she was looking at. She did ask if I wanted to join her and, just see and get some feedback as a friend,
Mm-hmm.
as a colleague, as a friend. And so after I went on my first day of vacation, I filled out 30 plus applications because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know where to go next.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it was in the summertime. So usually as a admin, teacher, whatever role, they still need positions filled for the next school year. And I filled out about 30, I think it was about 31 applications the day after on vacation while my kids were playing with their uncle. And I said, okay, I have to leave it to God.
Yeah.
I have to leave it to God. I'm going to spend my whole 2 week vacation stressed and thinking and anxiety and all of that. I have to leave it to God.
Exactly.
After going to see my brother, I went to my mother's, and so I got a call 2 days before my vacation ended. So if my vacation was until the Monday, I got a call 2 days prior, and I got a call. Hey, you ready? So what are you talking about? What are you scheming? All right. So here's what's happening. I think we have a building. I'm ready. I'm ready. I said, what? You're ready to move on to a building? That's great. Congratulations. She said, no, 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 no. Are you serious? Were you serious about joining me if I open this school? Oh, I said, put me in, coach. Sign me up. Of course. So we were able to cry and laugh about it. And it happened 2 days before I finished the vacation. And I was sitting out on my mom's porch and I laughed, I cried, we laughed, we cried, we talked, and we just said, I can't believe this is happening. So from before vacation, not having any idea what
Right.
to expect to leaving vacation. Okay, so we're going to go look at a building soon. And now this is the funny part. I get back the next day. I get back. We go to look at this building.
Mm-hmm.
This building called where I was previously working to tell us they were actually closing and they'd like to send their kids, their children, to our school. And I built a pretty good rapport with the principal and the vice principal there. He had no idea that this was a tag team effort and that we didn't know we would be taking over their building. So in one moment we sat in the office after we did the walkthrough and chills just came through my body. And he said, I would have never thought, you can't, this is God ordained.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
cannot make this
100%.
up. You cannot make this
100%.
up. It was a beautiful step to a new journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me take you back to, okay, yeah,
So, a
yeah,
question. This is your friend, partner, colleague that you guys were sharing
yep,
ideas with for 6, 8 hours per
yes,
day or
yes,
whatever.
yes,
And she's the one that kind of called you up and said, okay, are you ready
yes,
to,
yep,
start your
yeah,
own school?
yeah,
I would have
yes,
been jumping up and down,
yes,
screaming like a
yes,
5-year-old.
yes, yes.
And then when you get there to do this,
Mm-hmm.
the person, that building was about to
Yep,
close.
it was.
And they were going to send their kids to the school that told you you had no
Yep,
position.
yep,
And
yep.
now you go from that to filling out 30 applications on your vacation to 2 days before your vacation is over as opening your own Christian
Yes,
school.
yes,
God, I'm
yes,
getting
yes,
goosebumps all
yes.
over.
I still
Oh
do.
my
I literally, I still
God.
get the
What a
chills because
story.
and so here how this works now.
Okay.
We have to have a deposit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you put down, you have to have a deposit. You have to have the first, the last, security, all that good stuff. Now, I probably 2 months prior, I didn't know. I used to live in Kansas. I didn't know. I completely forgot about an account that I had in Kansas.
A money account? I never
Yes.
forget about money.
So here's the thing. It completely, I did not know. I received a piece of mail around April, May.
Uh-huh.
So the vacation was in June, around April, May. And I said, oh, I have an account here? Okay. Well, yeah. They were trying to see if I wanted to basically close the account, transfer, close the account,
Mm-hmm.
or did I want to continue? And so again, this is all God.
So it's like a 401k account that you were
Yes,
making contributions to?
yes, and I
Okay.
no longer was because I was no longer working in that system.
Got you.
And so, prior to even all of this happening, even knowing if I was going to let go, I was actually shopping for a home. And fortunately, I do have a place to stay, so that wasn't really the biggest issue. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, let it just sit there, something will work out.
Right.
And so that same deposit, that same transfer went to deposit for the
School.
school. And a group of us put together, it was just, again, God had this aligned for us all the time. The whole time God had this aligned. And so we were able to give the first, we were able to give the deposit, we were able to give the tour of the building, we were able to sign all the contracts, we were able to move in. And the sweet spot is we didn't have to have any furniture. They said, everything is yours.
Oh my
Everything
goodness.
is yours.
I have some people that are going to love this story.
Man, when I tell you it, like I still get excited about it. I still get teary-eyed about it. I still get the chills about it because you can't make this up.
You can't.
Now, this infamous person that I love dearly, that I've spent every single day with, her name is Monique Strahan Murray, and she is the glue. She's everything. She's the behind the scenes, the upfront. She's building relationship with the parents from previous schools. She is the MVP. She's my MVP.
Oh my
And
God.
so when we said we were going to do this, we didn't think twice. We didn't think twice. We knew in our heart, despite the noise, people saying, "Hey, you don't know her," or "You haven't known her long enough." We knew in our heart we were supposed to be together, and
It
we
was
were
meant to
supposed to do.
be.
Yes,
It was
yes,
meant to be.
yes,
Like you
yes.
said, you cannot make
Nope.
that up.
Yeah,
And I am so sorry
yeah.
that Monique could not join us today.
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
you said, she's the MVP. She
She's
had two other
events.
events
Yeah,
today.
yep, yep,
And we
yes.
need that.
Yeah, she's
We,
she's awesome, and I
oh
love her
my
dearly.
God.
And it's funny because when I explained this so I helped with a school 3 years prior, and I still had a good relationship with them, and they called and said, "Hey, do you need any curriculum? I have a ton of stuff from when you were here that was ordered brand new." Brand new. Nellie, she called me up. She said, "We have books, we have the carpet, we have everything that you guys ordered is still in boxes in the closet."
Oh
So
my
not only
God.
did we not have to have desks, printer, office supplies, we also got a bunch of things from the school I was at 3 years prior. And so we walked into the school fully prepared with supplies, desks, equipment, everything you could think of. I had another friend who I worked with, and she was getting ready to clean out her area. She had a bunch of bookshelves, office supplies, paper. So it was a team. And it does take a village,
It
and
does.
we had and have our village, and they still support us to this day and still say, "Hey, do you need anything? Hey, do you need anything?" And fortunately, we were able to finally get approved for the school. It took us some time.
You mean accredited
All
and
of the above,
oh
from
gosh.
inspection, health inspection. And when I tell you anything the devil tried to put forth, he tried, but every single time we combated. We went back with, hey, we have this completed. Hey, we
Mm-hmm.
did this. We got this approved. And every step of the way, it took a team effort. We kept going to the, to the buildings, to the sites where we needed to get everything approved, inspection, health inspection. We had inspectors come out. So we really tried. We started off in the beginning of the school year online.
Wow.
And there were
So
times that we had to go to the library as well.
so online meaning the kids were not in the building
Until we got approved.
until you got everything approved and all the supplies and
Yep,
everything.
yep, yep,
How
yep.
many students do you have?
So we started with zero, and
I like that.
because of the relationship that Monique builds with families, a family trusted her and trusted her word, and I also knew them for a short period of time. She gave us the opportunity to work with her kids and
Okay.
her boys. There were two students at the time, and after we were able to have students in the building, we had an open door policy. Another one came in. Hey, I'm looking for a school for my child. At the time, we were also told this child was nonverbal. This child talks now. She talks
Ooh.
and she writes away.
Oh my
Yep. So
goodness.
then October happened. We had another student. January happened. We had two more students. February happened. We had three more students. So without us doing a lot of the legwork, it just happened. It just happened.
Word of mouth
Word
too.
of mouth, it just happened. And we continued to just build the rapport, build the relationships. I went door to door. We went football fields. We did it all. We went to small businesses, passing out the flyers. So now where we stand is we're looking for open enrollment. We are in open enrollment, so we're looking for more children. But we also partner with a lot of different organizations. And one of the organizations provides food for families. And
Okay.
so on Thursdays, her and I will go open up the trunk. They pour out all of the food. It could be from eggs, milk, carrots, anything you could think of. Sometimes it's cake. Sometimes you get a cake. And we just go down the street and pass out to the families on the street. And
Wow.
yeah, we build a relationship with them. I just started a little basketball, Saturday basketball pickup game to
Mm-hmm.
bring in some more people, but it's right
Sure.
at the school, so they're more than welcome to. Some of the neighbors come and join, and they're open to coming to the school now. So we've really tried to, again, build a relationship. For the kiddos that we had at the school, we were able to get a couple kids on speech. One in particular who did not was not verbal.
Nonverbal. That's
Occupational therapy.
amazing.
We partnered with so many organizations
Mm-hmm.
because ultimately our heart are with the kids. So
Yes.
whatever needs to be done, whatever we can do, we shall, we will, and we live by that. And again, the name is Rise, Reignite, Inspire, Support, and Empower, and we hold tight to that.
And
We
it's a private Christian school.
Yes.
Like you do not rely on support from the government.
No.
It is
Yeah.
all by private
Yep. It
donations.
is.
Oh
It
my
is. It
goodness.
is. And so,
And this school was just it's just meant to be.
and it started off
It's
on
just
as a dream for
uh-huh.
Mo.
Yeah.
It started off as, then it went to paper and
Mm-hmm.
pencil. She had everything written as a micro school, and we spent nights, mornings, 2 in the morning, writing handbooks, policies. We visited different locations. We've just been trying to make a name for ourselves. But one thing that I stand tight on, and 10 toes down. I've worked in the public school and I've also worked in a private school. I've also worked in a Christian private school. And what sets us apart is we also try to work on the basic life skills. So, working in a public school, they can't really teach you or focus on how to clean your ears or how to brush your teeth or what's appropriate to wear when.
Mm-hmm.
Their class sizes are a lot larger than what a private school, so we're holding it at about 18 kids, and
Okay.
so we want to keep the class sizes small enough for it to be manageable. And then each child should have that voice. We also focus on, so we have a couple kids who are interested in different avenues for their future. What do you want to be when you grow up? Okay, so we work on the entrepreneurship. So we've practiced a couple different things that's different from the public school setting. And I think that's what sets us apart.
Right.
We have kids that, oh, I want to play football. Okay, but what else? What else do you want to do? Let's
Right.
navigate that. So we have a science enrichment program that we've tried. We've also worked on talking about how to grow fruits and vegetables. And so
Oh.
one of the things that I do on the side is I'll make juice for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we take the fruits and vegetables, and they're open to trying it. They want to make it themselves. So it's nice to be able to not only focus on their health,
Right.
not only focus on their physical health, not only focus on their mental health, but also academics. So, and then our foundation is coming biblically. So it's funny because there's different curriculums for the Bible, right? There's this curriculum, there's that curriculum. I believe, why aren't we opening up the Bible? Like, we have kids open up the Bible, look for the verse, and that in itself is a teaching moment,
It
because
is.
everything is scrolling through the phone.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I could type in Proverbs, or I can type in
Yeah.
Isaiah. No, we're going to open the
In the
Bible.
book.
We're going to learn what these verses are. And so we go through the fruit of the Spirit. And our last segment, I speak highly on this because this was a fun project. Our last segment, we focused on goodness. So we ended our fruit of the Spirit with goodness, and they had to make a song out of goodness. And my kids, wow, there's some who wrote a rap and they had different verses.
Uh-huh.
And then there was one who they had to create the beat.
Mm-hmm.
They had to create the verse. I had
So they made a
some.
record.
They made a record.
Oh,
They
okay.
made a record. They had to produce it. They had to sing or rap it. They had
And
to
write
put,
the
yep,
words. They had to do everything.
yes. And
Wow.
each role, each student had a different role,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a team effort.
Team
It was a
effort.
collaborative effort. So one actually pulled verses out of the Bible verse.
The book.
The book.
Not the okay.
He pulled some of the words from his song, came straight out of the Bible. And seeing them make that connection, it was so beautiful.
That's so
And
powerful.
I hyped them up. I hyped them up, and I love it. So
Oh
yeah.
my God.
We have fun. We have fun.
Yeah, and it's so creative
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And you have the creative reign to just do whatever
Yep.
you want to do. Like in some schools, you can't open a Bible.
Yes.
And
Yep.
things like that. So you're able to
Mm-hmm.
do whatever you want to do
Yes.
with the
Yes.
children and
Yeah.
learn on their levels.
Yes.
Now, your school goes from kindergarten to
Eighth grade.
eighth
Yes.
grade.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you leave it up to Mo, she would tell you, "Don't worry, we'll have 12th grade
We'll
soon."
have high school
Yeah,
soon.
we'll have 12th grade soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And your curriculum, do you feel as if it is as competitive or more competitive and challenging
Yeah.
as a public school?
So, good question. So, we do have the curriculum that was given to us in the beginning of the school year. It is all aligned with the state standards.
Okay.
However, critical thinking is something that's not very, I would say we don't see that often anymore. And so we kind of tie in from beginning of the day to the end. So it's a thematic unit in a sense. We tie in the standards, but we tie in biblical standards as well. We tie in mathematical standards as well. We tie in the language arts. So we do a lot of critical thinking because I'm seeing that that's not happening as often. And we talk about feelings a lot too. We talk about our mental health.
Oh,
So we
that's
try to
so
tie it
important.
all in.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I can give you an example, there was a student who had a hard time with another friend. Let's talk about it. How can we apply X, Y, and Z, right? How can we apply, how did that make you feel? So we're talking about social emotional. How can we apply anything that we learned in Bible study? So we're bringing up stuff from class, even though we're at recess or even though we're playing. And this is a lived experience. You've lived this. So how can you apply this and how can we change the outcome? So we're not just teaching them how to do 1+1 or ABCs or whatever the case may be. No, you need to be able to operate and act as a citizen outside of the school. So what does that look like if you have a confrontation with somebody at the grocery store?
Exactly.
So how do you handle that? And how can you apply yourself? And think about, how do you want to apply yourself? How do you want to be viewed? And how do you want to carry yourself? So we really hone in on the character, but then we tie in everything else that we learn. So it's a thematic unit, a universal system where we tie everything in and then bring it back and say, okay, how do we make the connection?
That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next question I was going to ask you
Mm-hmm.
was about discipline.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. It's not my favorite
Yeah.
because I had to do most of the disciplining in my
Yes.
house. My
Yes.
husband worked two jobs and, it was
Okay.
left up to me at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But discipline, how is that implemented? What does it look like?
Yes.
And I'm asking these questions because my oldest son went to a character school
Okay.
and their discipline was so completely
Mm-hmm.
different
Mm-hmm.
than all the other schools I
Mm-hmm.
had ever seen. Like if you got into a fight, you got suspended for 3 days
Right.
and
Right. Right.
sent home,
Right. Right.
which I rejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got my lawyer to write a
Yep.
letter and say, I don't want my kid at home.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Make him wash the tables, do whatever you got to do to embarrass him. I don't
Yep.
want him missing his work because
Yes.
that's when that
Yes.
trend starts where they
Yes.
fall behind, they get
Yes.
frustrated, they throw up
Yes.
their hands and blah, blah, blah. So I want to ask you
Okay.
about that process.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I think my philosophy is slightly different than the typical teacher at admin. I don't believe a child should go home and spend days on a TV or not in school, right? So if we are able to, we want to keep you in school.
In school
In
suspension.
schools, yes,
Hmm.
correct. And the parents, I think, appreciate that as well,
Yeah.
because they too have to work. They have their job to do, and it's our students' job, is their child's job to be in school. So if they're having to go home because they're suspended, then that means it's a domino effect,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And so
100%.
and I just actually so I love curriculum, and I love creating curriculum, and I love working on what fine tuning things. And so I just finished up a behavior handbook.
Okay.
It's a little more structured than the generic, oh, first strike, second strike, third strike. No, first we really want to build the relationship. And I find most of the time parents only hear when their child is misbehaving. We want to start way before that. Let's build a relationship not only with the children, but with the parents as well. And just keep contacting them for good before we decide to contact them for, oh, your child did this and your child did that. Because ultimately, how are we helping anyone here, right? It's
Right.
going to
It's
become,
all bad, bad,
yeah,
bad.
it's going
It's
to
negative.
become, oh, well, I'm saying this to your child, and then you're going to go home and say this to your child. No, we're a team. And we learned that this year, sometimes the children will try to take advantage of that. But they've learned also that this is a mom and dad relationship. So we are a collective group. Despite we're not living in the same home, but you come to school, again, that's your job. And so I go into detail as to what it would look like. Now, when I see behaviors, which God has blessed us, none of our children, I would say, had any behaviors. My background is in behavior management.
Okay.
I've worked with kids that climbed on top of desks, throw chairs, spit in your face. I've worked with them flipping
Wow.
tables. So I have seen the extreme. But ultimately, we have to look at the mental health, right? So
Yes.
what is happening? What does the environment look like? So we dive in a different approach. Oh, it's not your child is misbehaving and that's that. No, 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 no. What caused that behavior?
Get to the
And
root.
get to the root of it. And 9 times out of 10 now, this is not, don't quote me on this, but it's because of lack of structure in many cases.
I believe
So how do we get this child to have the structure that they need so that they can appropriately perform, both academically and behaviorally? And one of the things that I've noticed is if I could sit there and see the child, what are the frustrations? What are the struggles? What are the challenges? Build that relationship with the child. And if it's a child who cannot communicate, okay, so how are we finding ways where the child can communicate? So if the student says something that, was absurd, did they even know that they weren't supposed to say that? And I do that with my own kids. Did you know you weren't supposed to do that? Okay. Why did you think that was okay? And 9 times out of 10, again, don't quote me on this, they don't know. They don't know better. And it could be a learned behavior.
Right.
So taking those behaviors, teaching them the appropriate behaviors, but also working on their mental health. And again, tying it back to our language arts, our mathematics, our biblical
Biblical.
standards. So if we
That's
can
awesome.
go back to, okay, we studied love or we
Hmm.
studied forgiveness, talk to me about that. And one of the things that we normally do is go through different verses. Say we did goodness. Again, we did goodness, right? So beginning of the lesson, we have a bunch of verses where they can refer back to. So it's kind of like their little toolbox. And we create a toolbox for each child, but it's not the same toolbox because not every child is the
That's
same.
right. They're
And
different.
so they may react differently because something happened in the morning. I've had a child come in, dropped, and you could see the eyebrows turn. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not even going to bring
Yeah.
you into the classroom. Let's talk about it. Do you need some time to calm down? And I've seen results. I've
That's
seen the
important.
results. Yes.
Wow.
Treat them like they're human.
Yeah, and you have to, and treat them, the way you feel too. I wish I had met you 30 years ago. I don't even know if you're 30 years old,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I raised two boys,
Yes, yes.
okay? And one of them was very challenging. He still
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
He's 34 years old. He's my oldest son. And so I always knew, like, when something happened in the house, or outside or whatever, it was always him. He was
Yeah.
very mischief,
Yep, yep,
always
yep,
getting
yep.
into things and just that type of
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, yeah.
And he got punished for it. I'm old school,
Mm-hmm.
I'm from that old Southern
Yep,
Alabama
yep.
raised parent
Yeah.
where I believe in whoopings.
Yes, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
still do. I still think some of those kids need
Right,
that.
right,
Talking
right.
don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I have two sons. One I punished all the time. One I never punished because he did everything I said. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get back to, I call him Baby Joe. So Baby Joe, he's like 6, 7 years old, and I'm like, this kid, I'll punish him all the time. My husband's not there. I know he did it. He lies about it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, this kid is going to hate me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So one day,
Mm-hmm.
after I punished him,
Mm-hmm.
was sitting on the bed, I just asked him,
Mm-hmm.
kids want to be heard.
Yep.
Tell me one thing you don't like about me. This kid taught me how to be a listener. He goes, never listen to me. They want
Okay.
to be
They
heard,
want to
no
be
matter how
heard.
crazy their story is.
Yeah.
So after that, I started listening to all these crazy cockamamie stories. Then I whooped him, okay, because I
Yeah.
knew he did
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
and we
Yeah.
had an understanding till this day.
Yeah.
We communicate well,
Look at
and
that.
I
Yeah.
told him to get him to stop lying
Yep, yep,
because he
yep.
lied about
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
He's a
yeah.
pathological
Yeah,
liar.
yeah, yeah.
So I told him, I said, if you tell me the truth, I won't punish you. Because him and my nephew, I used to smoke cigarettes. Thank God I quit 26.5 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Wasn't easy.
Congratulations.
I was such a
Yeah.
fiend. But anyway,
Yeah.
they stole my cigarettes, okay?
Okay.
And they were on top of the refrigerator. So
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
my other son, which
Yeah.
is 4 years younger, couldn't get to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And I was like, I was about that time, I was shaking.
yeah, yeah,
I need
yeah.
a cigarette.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Having a nicotine fit.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you get my cigarettes, I won't punish you.
Yeah.
Tell me where they are or go get them.
Yeah.
They had taken them into the woods. They were all crinkled up. The package
Oh,
was smoke.
boy.
So they
Yeah.
brought me the cigarettes. I hurried up and straightened one
Yeah,
out and
yeah,
lit it up.
yeah.
And then I was able to communicate. But I said I was going to use that. So to tell him that if you tell me the truth about whatever it
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
I will not punish you.
Yeah, yeah.
And that made our relationship
Yeah.
so much better. We communicate well.
Yeah.
We talk about everything.
That's
He gives
good.
it to me straight without a filter. So
Yeah.
my point and moral for telling you this story
Mm-hmm.
is because I know that kids want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to reassure them, like later on in the week, that you heard what they
Yep.
said by
Absolutely.
example, or
Absolutely.
saying you said blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
whatever it was. So with parents and
Yeah.
teachers, ask that question, listen to the kids, even like one thing you don't like about me. That was the most powerful statement
Yep.
I made to my son in his lifetime.
And it just took that one. It just
It-
took that
it
one
did.
sentence. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it made me think, I'm like, I'm beating this kid all the time. He's
Yeah,
gonna
like
hate
what's
me.
happening?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna
yeah.
hate me. So I
Yeah.
love the way your school is structured.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
have
you
fun
have
there.
all of that, and
Yeah.
you don't have any discipline areas.
No.
I mean, problems because of the way you teach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're proactive to what I had done,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and that's the part, right?
Yeah.
Because we're so quick to be reactive.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, what can we do before a possible behavior occurs? And I think how we also enter the building. And so when I enter the building, they know, uh-oh, Miss Reese, Miss Buchanan, she's gonna start dancing, she's gonna start singing, she's ready to go. So I'll play the gospel music and it's a party. So
Uh-huh.
we start off with it's a party. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll go and we'll learn a new dance or they'll teach me a new dance and they join. They
Yeah.
join. They have fun with it. So even in the beginning of the day, when
Yeah.
we first start the
Mm-hmm.
day, it's how are we going to start this day? And
Exactly.
let it start off at 100%. Let's
Yes.
do that. Here, if anything, let's start off here. And if this is their safe space,
Mm-hmm.
then why can't it be a fun time? Why can't it be warm? Why can't it be fuzzy, right? Yeah, I'm not saying everything is all glitz and glamour,
Yeah.
but when you start off the day and then you ask, how are you feeling? So one of the assignments I would say that the students have to do when they first walk in, we talk about, and I do this with my best friend. We've been doing it for 3-4 years now. We have a gratitude list. And so we do a top 5 gratitude list,
Oh, okay.
and it's the most beautiful thing because sometimes I could be in a negative state of mind, and then it's like, no, refer back to your gratitude list,
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't do it yet, so let me do it now, and then that changes, that shifts everything. So I do have them start off with, what are you grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
What challenges did you overcome the day before? And that could be challenges at home, that could be challenges in school, however that may look, and who or what are we praying for? And so each student has their opportunity to share. I too share with them. So I build a relationship with them by sharing some personal information.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't do I'm still in school, so I'm working on my doctorates, and they know that. So
Uh-huh.
they help pray for me. They pray for me with that. And so one of the things that they say is, or I'll tell them, I was like, you know, I had to overcome not getting this homework done, so I put on a timer, or whatever the case may be, or I put an alarm, or it could be anything. It could be anything from, you know, I didn't do this, so now I want to do this. And what
Mm-hmm.
am I grateful for? And I got to school safely, you know? So
Yes.
it has them. And in the beginning of the year, for some of them, in the beginning of the time that I've had them, it was, oh, I don't know. I don't know, nothing. And then toward the end, oh, I'm grateful that I have a home. I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful that my mom is able to drive. I'm grateful that I have food in the fridge. I'm grateful that I got lights. I'm grateful. So you start hearing them. And again, that goes back to the critical thinking.
Wow.
So they start thinking about what they're
Mm-hmm.
saying now. How do you overcome any challenges? Well, one said she couldn't go to sleep, so she just, read a book until she fell asleep. Simple things like that, but it
That's
also has them start internalizing some of these
mm-hmm.
feelings and emotions and thoughts, and it helps them process a little bit. And
Wow.
so we really focus on, again, we go back to the Bible, we go back to the foundation, but we really focus on how can we operate in a healthy manner. And so when we talk about these things, it helps me understand who they are. Sometimes when they share their prayers, it's heartfelt, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm praying for my sister, I'm praying for my mom because X, Y, and Z. And it's okay, let's pray about
Yeah.
it. Let's talk about it. Let's pray about it. And what can we do as, a student or as a person? What can we do, whether that is to change, shift, or adjust, whatever the case may be?
Right.
So we really try to build the relationship through every avenue, and that is another way that we try to build that relationship. And at that time, they're being heard.
Yeah.
They're getting heard. Yeah.
Have you run into any children at your school that was maybe too embarrassed or ashamed about something in their household that they didn't want to tell you about, but they want to pray about it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I grew up with not enough food to eat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go to school and tell somebody
Yeah.
that,
Right.
or
Right.
without, having a father and then watching my neighbor,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
father hug her
Yeah.
and buy a new bike. Just
Yeah.
it's small things to
Right.
us, but
Right.
to a child, an
Yeah.
8 or 10
Yeah.
year old child,
Yeah.
they might not want to share that. So, do you have like a formula
Yes.
where they can like keep it in, pray about it, and share it when they're ready,
Yes.
or draw it out,
Yeah,
through
yep,
art or
yep.
something. You do?
Which we
Oh
do
my
all
God,
of
you got
that. We do, yeah,
everything.
we do all of that. So now here's where I learned when I started teaching in 2013. At the
Hmm.
time, it was a first grade class, and I learned these kids will tell you anything.
Yeah.
They will tell you
It's
everything.
easier to talk to a stranger
Oh,
when you
they
go
will tell
for
you. Yes,
therapy.
they will tell you. They will get descriptive. I'm hearing all the stories. And
That's
so
funny.
sometimes I try to cut it short. Thank you for sharing, because they may overshare,
Yeah.
but also they feel safe enough to share. And so I don't normally have that issue with the
Okay.
kiddos. If in the event I do tell them before we share it out loud together to write it down.
Hmm.
Write it
Okay.
down. I created it's kind of like our agenda calendar book.
Yep.
And so not only does it have our calendar, our to-do list, it has our assignments where we'll complete our assignments. It has a budget sheet because they earn points. So that's part of our behavior system. They earn points, translate that to money, fake money.
Yeah.
And then they have a budget. They can buy extra free time, or they can buy a pen, or they could buy whatever the case may be. But in the beginning of that worksheet for each day is the what are you grateful for? Name the three. What are you overcoming? Name the three. And I asked them to share just a few. They don't have
In
to share
writing.
everything, but yes, share
Okay.
a few out loud. I have one child who she's not afraid to share, but she doesn't always want to share. And I
Hmm.
don't pressure her. Just give me one of the three, or just give me one of the five. And so she's able to share that. And I don't normally have an issue with any of the other children. Again, they love to share.
Oh, you're
So
right.
yeah, they love
I've
to
re-
share.
and even as an adult, it's easier to talk to a stranger, a complete stranger, about your problems than it is to tell your best friend
Yep.
or your sister,
Yes.
because you may be
And
judged,
you don't want to
or
feel
they
that,
may,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
or you
Yep.
may be afraid they're going to share it with somebody in a
Yep.
family that you
Yeah.
don't want to know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
That is amazing. It
Yes.
seems like, you know what, you have to give out the location of the school, and I
Yes.
recommend everybody, in what town is it
Okay.
in
Yes.
Florida,
Yes.
to at least go on the website,
Yes.
visit, call, ask questions,
Yes.
because you're creating some really phenomenal
Yes.
people.
Right.
Their
Thank you.
children
Thank
now,
you.
they're going to turn into
Yeah.
excellent adults
Thank you. We are
because of all the
trying.
training. You
Yes.
got everything covered. I don't
Yeah.
even know what to ask you now.
So, okay. So, again, we are Rise Christian Academy. We are
Uh-huh.
located in Fort Lauderdale. It's
Okay.
1800 Ninth Ave in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33311. And the area we're located in, the demographics is tough. I
Okay.
mean, we hear sirens often.
Okay.
We see the sirens pass by often. And so our heart is near and dear to helping just the community, not only for our school, but that's part of the reason why we go down the street and we pass out the carrots or we pass out the potatoes, because we really want to see our people just uplift and rise.
Our people, black and brown people.
Yes,
So
yes.
the majority of your school is predominantly black, but it's
Yeah,
mixed.
yeah,
So
a lot of
there's
island folk.
I
Yes, yes, yes. But it brings a little bit of culture to us as well.
yeah.
And we have a segment in social studies and history class where we talk about that. So we want to include as many cultures as possible and just feel like this child, you're accepted. This child, you're accepted. This child, because a lot of places they don't feel that way. And
Exactly.
so if you feel, again, if this is a safe haven, if you feel like you're safe, I've had, there's one who, he's great. He lives on the street. It's an older guy that I met when I did my walking by, and he sends us kids. He sent me one who doesn't even come to the school. So we do have that open door policy.
Hmm.
Monique is more on the ministry side. And she also does a lot of the admin. I'm telling you, she's everything. She
She's
does, she
MVP.
does, she does, she's the MVP. She's the most
She got-
important player. She's the most valuable player. But she works with adults.
Okay.
And she does a lot of healing within. She has the ministry. She has conversations with adults. So we've had people who don't even have kids that come to our school. and she spends time with them.
Oh.
Yeah, so the student that one of the neighbors, the residential neighbors, he sent me a child. He said, "Hey, this kid is struggling. I just need you to talk to him."
Mm-hmm.
And he, a 13-year-old that didn't come to our school, came by. We had a conversation, and so that's our goal: is not just to service the students in our school, but to service the community. And
Okay.
so whatever that may look like,
Yeah.
whether that may be having a conversation with Monique, or having a session with Monique, or even having a conversation with me. I more work with the children, but it could go hand in hand. And so our partnership is very divine, because we have a lot of commonalities, but then we also have our departments that we're great in. And her department that she's phenomenal in
Mm-hmm.
is building the relationship and just working with the healing within. And so I love, like I said before, I love working with her. I love our partnership. And we, not to say again, I mean, there's very few times where we disagree, but we really come together, and we
Mm-hmm.
just want to we just want to see a difference in our
Right.
world. We just want to make a difference. So
This,
yeah.
yeah, this kind of reminds me of some of the things that, and I'm an athlete.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love athletes. I love
Yep.
LeBron James. It kind of reminds me of what
Yes.
he's doing with the
Yeah.
I Promise School
Yes.
so that nobody
Yes.
has to grow up the way
Mhm.
he did.
Right.
This is so
Right. Right.
phenomenal.
Right.
I love what you guys are
Thank
doing.
you.
Um, you almost make me want to be a school teacher at your
Listen,
school,
we could
but I
go
know I
some.
can't do that. That's not my
We could try
thing.
to make it happen.
It's not
Come
my
on. Yeah.
forte.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been on school board and the
Yeah.
PTA and all of that. My
Yeah.
son went to Sacred Heart St. Peter School,
Okay.
both of
Okay.
them for a
Okay.
while, and I was very involved PTA board
Okay.
and all of that stuff. And so the teachers were having a meeting, and he
Yeah.
was in kindergarten at this time,
Yeah.
and I was the strictest parent. And this was the kid
Mhm.
that I punished.
Okay.
And they asked the parents to watch
Mhm.
the classrooms like an
Mhm.
hour, whatever.
Mhm.
Those kids took 100% complete advantage of me. I had no
Mm.
control
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
just not my forte.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could not
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
My son was the leader of the pack. He wasn't listening to me.
Of course, right? Of course, it'd be my son. It's always the
It's
son, right?
always that way. I mean,
Yeah.
they were doing crazy things like
Yeah.
walking on the desk, throwing things, and I would
Uh-huh.
try to put one at a time out, and then something else over there would
Yeah.
be going on. So you don't want me at your school,
Oh
but
no, there's a place
it
for everyone, I'm sure.
it feels
Yeah.
like you're just creating angels and you're in
Yeah.
heaven,
Well,
and
we
you're going to
work on
pan out
it.
these really
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful students.
Yeah.
Um, I want to thank
Yes,
you
thank you.
for
I really
coming on
appreciate
Venita's
this.
podcast. I
Yes.
love this. I cannot wait
Yeah.
to share it. Are there any last words you'd like to leave with our audience? And
Yes, of
once again, give
course.
them your information.
Yes. So
Okay.
again, I am Sharice Buchanan. Long history of working with direct curriculum,
Hmm.
behaviors, but worked my way from educator, special educator, all the way up. I'm working on the doctorates, so pray for me there.
We will.
Pray for me there. But it has taught me a lot.
Hmm.
And if anything, even if it's just a conversation, yes, we have our website. Yes, you're more than welcome to donate. But even if it's just a conversation, a partnership, we're open. We're open to receive, and we're open to help and assist and support. And that's where our hearts are. So if it's anything, it's just come by and say
Yeah,
hi. Just,
that's it.
visit us, say hi, call
Yeah.
us up and say, hey, how's everything going? And also, I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. We are Rise Christian Academy. We reignite, we inspire, we support, and empower. That is our goal, that is our dream, that is our motto. And together, we rise.
Amen to that. So
Mhm.
thank you
Thank
again
you.
for sharing this information.
Yes.
And I hope that everyone who is watching this share it. Even if you're not in Florida, we need more of these schools, more of these communities to come together. And thank you everybody for your time. This is Venita's podcast, and I hope everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you.